Alright. I'll edit it, but whenever you guys are ready, go ahead.
Alright.
Wait.
Okay. Are we good now?
I didn't do good with the cycling. Am I supposed to cycle or are we just weaving?
I don't know.
Weave.
Weave?
I liked it. Alright, go.
Alright.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Alright.
Cool.
Are you guys ready?
Go ahead.
Great. As stated by novelist and playwright Edward Bulwer Lytton, the pen is mightier than the sword. This quote, exhibited in Cambridge Dictionary, holds true to this day. Authors, writers, and editors directly influence the direction of culture through the content of the media which we use and see today. Our purpose in this speech is to inform you, the audience, of the rewards of being an author, writer, or editor, and to persuade you to consider pursuing a career in this job field.
What are authors, writers, and editors, you might ask? Well, there are those who write literature that they're also able to influence others, often though as having authority over matters of opinion. This is according to Bennett in 2005. And authors have a sense of publishedness to their work, and they're a little bit more formal, focusing more on novels, books, online publications, company newsletters, advertisements. Writers, more newsletters, magazines, not so much books, although every author is a writer, not every writer is an author. So there is some overlap with that. And they can also be, writers can also be for trade journals as well. According to Metamoric, S. and Risco in 2007, written composition can be described as a successive burst of written language and pause periods. So there's a time to say words, and there's also a time to be silent. And silence can be louder than the words. And this is analysis that we can concur that a writer's work requires exemplary skills and linguistic capabilities, according to Andrew Bennett, 2005. Some people wrote questionable words in the snow today at the library. They're writers, however, I doubt they'll ever be published because some of the things that they wrote were quite profane. So we're actually also writers in that we write assignments for school every day. However, we're not published authors. However, we are the authors of those writings, so there is definitely some overlap with that. So as far as statistics go, writers and authors make about 61,000 per year, and this is according to the Bureau of Job Statistics, and their average education is a bachelor's degree. They usually major in comms, journalism, or English, and they have about 131,000 jobs in that field. Editors, on the other hand, they go 57K per year. They have a bachelor's in journalism, comms, or English, and there are around 127,000 jobs in that field, which is actually pretty similar to writers and authors. So for every writer and author, there needs to be an equal editor. So as you can see the numbers here for 131,000 authors and writers, you have 121,000 editors to edit their work. So the number is roughly equal, two sides to the coin there. With that, I will turn it over to Kat again for the persuasive aspect.
So there are a lot of people who would probably ask, why is this job important? What has it done for our country, for our history as a nation and as a people? Well, without these professions of authors, writers, and editors, many of our world's most influential documents would have never seen the light of day. For example, Magna Carta, the Petition of Right, and the Atlantic Charter, they all would have never been published or even seen if they had not been written first and then doctrinized. An example of this is the Declaration of Independence. It proves the importance of editors in historical documents, because the Declaration of Independence was originally written by around 2 to 3 men, then was brought into a committee and they edited it. It went through 5 different committees before they even brought the original draft to the committee of the Second Continental Congress. Because of this, the founding document of the United States might have never, ever been written. Another reason why this profession is incredibly important is that it stimulates the viewer's creative potential. We are creative beings made in God's image. Therefore, our creative nature stems from God, and we can glorify his purpose through it. This is exemplified through musicians who write songs, such as Hillsong and For King and Country. They write songs constantly glorifying God's grace and how amazing he is as the divine creator of our world. This is also seen through publishers who help authors such as Tim Tebow create books like Shaken, which is one of his best-selling novels about how Christ has changed his life for the better. Also, another reason why this profession is incredibly important is we are able to relay important feelings to their audiences. When people are passionate on a subject, they are automatically called to write, whether it be in pamphlets, petitions, protests, or any form of legislation, because it becomes a thing. Because of this, the articulation of thoughts and expression of emotions can help bring others to support that idea, or at least consider the logic behind it. Now, why should you, the audience, want to partake in this specific profession? Well, if you're an author, an editor, or a writer, you have the power to influence and inspire others. According to Andrew Bennett, authors are able to influence others, often, though, as having authority over matters of opinion. Because of this, we are able to constantly see the effect that the power of authors, editors, and writers have on the social mindsets and the personal opinions of the people in the world today. Also, another compelling reason to want to become a part of these professions is that you have the ability to express your personal interests within the profession. Writers can write on their personal beliefs and express their views through blogs, journal articles, newspaper writings. Authors express their personal creativity and imagination through their works in novels and all sorts of best-selling writings. Also, and finally, editors can choose their preferred works and methods of study and editing, so they can choose specifically who they want to edit for and what they want to publish. Now we will bring it on to the redemptive view.
Now, how does writing and editing and authorship all relate to the Bible? Well, quite clearly, the Bible would have never been created had there not been authors like Moses and Paul and David, Solomon, and many more. God is the perfect editor because the Bible is God-breathed, meaning God inspired the writers and authors of the Bible in order to say what he thought was truth and he thought was right. Revelations 1:9 says, "Write therefore the things that you have seen, those that are, and those that are to take place after this." Writing helps to remind people of the past and prepare them for the future. We have a Bible here. It's an NIV, and that was in ESV translation. But in Revelations 21:5, it states, "And he who is sealed on the throne said, 'Behold, I am making all things new.' Also he said, 'Write this down, for these words are trustworthy and true.'" He who is seated on the throne, as he is referred to in the verse, is God. And if God finds it important for the Apostle Paul to write down information regarding a change or an event, then as Christians, we are also called to do so. The role of an author or a writer or an editor is to tell the truth and to deliver the truth to people who wouldn't really hear it any other way. To summarize, writers, authors, and editors have played an essential role in determining the publication and of information and the shape of creativity and literary arts in our world today. Furthermore, though our contributions to intellectual thought and social mindsets, these professions have become an irreplaceable part in our society in the modern world. I believe that we are supposed to talk about our roles in this. I can edit this out, but I believe that we're supposed to talk about our roles. aren't
Yes, well, I was the encourager, Jake was the informer. Actually, I was the informer, Jake was the
we?
encourager.
Encourager.
And Kat was the persuader. And I actually am the author of this paper airplane, which was my sheet. But you see,
Creative.
it's very creative. I am actually the author of this. However, it is not published. It does have writing on it, though. So it's kind of a hybrid of all of this. And if I give it to Jake, and Jake edits it a little bit to make it better, in some way, shape, or form, how are you going to edit it? That was a horrible edit, Jake.
So it doesn't hurt anybody.
Oh, you know what? That is actually a good edit. You know what? I take it back. See, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I may not have seen the beauty of Jake's edit at first, and then all of a sudden, Jake bends the nose, and I'm like, why is he going to do that? And then he folds it inside, and I go, wow, that's amazing. I see the beauty in Jake's edit. And I was the writer, and he was the editor, and Kat looks at our paper airplane, and she goes,
I'm the audience.
this is amazing. We got to get this out to the public. And she publishes our paper airplane with my informative speech materials written all over it. It's amazing. It goes viral. Kids love it. They open it up for Christmas, and it's their favorite toy.
Alongside, another potential reason as to why authors, editors, and publishers are incredibly important to the biblical Christian worldview is because of this thing right here, the Bible. It looks pretty ordinary. Every good Christian probably has one. However, there are many different types. There are different translations, there are different origins. Because of this, we can see the necessity of having different authors transcribe different types of texts for other people to understand. Because of the translation of the Bible into several different sources, we are also able to see the importance of editors and making sure that every single language is transcribed perfectly so that the Word of God can be properly understood throughout the nations.
Yes.
That's all, folks.
Sure.